Alex Rivera, Burnside.
Sweet. Why don't you tell us about what drew you to the Pennsylvania hardcore scene?
Jeez. You know, I don't even know if I have a story for that, more than I found hardcore through an old friend of mine, and he showed me hardcore, he showed me straight edge. And I used to just drink like crazy all the time when I was super young. I had an alcoholic stepdad, and then through my friend, this guy Mike Turtle, years ago, and he showed me Gorilla Biscuits and Minor Threat, and then I just found, you know, hardcore, and then I found like-minded people, you know, years later, and then I guess when Burnside formed is when we started seeing actually like the PA hardcore scene and everything, you know, because that's just where all the shows were. You know, we just met cool bands, and you know, Mushmouth and Dysphoria, and those are the guys we played with all the time, and those were the best shows. We're always in PA somewhere. I was in a band, some silly metal band with this dude Aaron, and then him and I started Burnside from that. And Lance, I think I just knew from around the way, just seeing him around, and then we just kind of knew friends basically. Lance knew Sean came in through that. We had this guy Mike Vendetti, he was just this hardcore kid, you know, just from around the way. He knew a friend Matt of mine, and then there's no full origin for the most part. There's just like friends of friends got together to put together a band, and at first we were called Godhammer because we were trying to be like a metal kind of band. I don't know, it's fucking terrible. But the name Burnside was like something ridiculous when we were trying to think of a new name, and a moving truck drove by us, and it was Burnside Movers, and Mike was like, "Which car sells Burnside?" I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." This is a dumb thing.
When was that? About 96-ish?
94.
Like
Oh yeah, Philly was awesome. Philly was Philly and just Pennsylvania in general was always the best because there's just tons of kids everywhere. I mean, there was some around here like South Jersey, but you know, you go to Philly and Pennsylvania, that's where all the shows were, and just tons of kids. And I remember going deep in Pennsylvania and seeing kids from around this way, like going all the way to like Lancaster, and people just being there for shows, traveling shows, going to Moosic, Pennsylvania, and people just traveling, you know, driving 3 hours to go see shows from around here. And yeah, Pennsylvania's just great. You know, CC's was the fucking shit. Love that place.
Any particular memory out of CC's? Because lots of people are definitely talking about it.
We did a Memorial Day show there. That was awesome. It was us. It was like us, Dysphoria, I think Mushmouth, E-Town, Rabid Shaft Badgers, and
John through the show. Yep.
Yeah, it's seriously so many bands, but that was an awesome show because at no point did people like leave. Like, it was the first band played, people were there. They left and they would leave to go out and barbecue, and they'd come back in when the next band was ready to play, and it was awesome. Like, it was just barbecuing, and people were drinking and doing whatever they were doing, but then people would come in. Like, we played after E-Town, and I was like, really, we're gonna play after E-Town? Because everybody's gonna be gone, nobody's gonna stick around, and everybody stuck around, you know what I mean? So everybody was there to have fun and support every single band. That was like the best show ever.
In Strasbourg?
Yeah, we played Spanky's, I think twice. Maybe. The time I remember though is that we played once and the PA blew out. Like, I was singing the first song and the PA blew out, and somebody just handed me some fake microphone and I just sang in that with no PA or anything. So, and that was Spanky's. It was a fun show, a lot of people there. Troc was my favorite place. Troc was my first place to see shows. Not indie shows, but like, you know, whatever. But like, Troc was my first place that I saw a concert. It was Guar, and I was like, still to that, you know, that place is like one of my favorites ever, just because, you know, it was awesome back then. Fury 5, I remember seeing Fury 5 at the Troc, and there was all these Nazi dudes. You were at that one? Yeah, it was all these Nazi guys come out. And we're trying to kick him out of the club, and people are just following him around and stuff. You know, just basically, I don't know, I didn't want to beat him up. They were just going to fight these Nazis, but for some reason we let them get to their car, and the dude pulls out a gun and just starts shooting in the air, and we all just fucking take off. We're like, what the fuck? But, you know, they were just trying to run Nazis out of the Troc pretty much, but probably should have never let him get to his car. Starkweather for sure, you know, like, I mean, all I felt too, like, but Starkweather was always a band that I always felt they were, I don't know, like, just totally not like nobody cared about them that beyond this area, and I'm like, man, these guys are fucking awesome. Like, especially for the time and everything. I always thought they were like a lot before their time, you know. Like the '90s of hardcore was like my favorite ever because it was just such a like. I mean, not that I was around for the '80s or anything, but like that time was just fun because everybody was just cool. Like everybody was just friends, and I was just like this giant family I would see every weekend, and sometimes during the week and all. And you know, Mushmouth, we loved playing with those dudes. So that was like such a like. Mushmouth and Dysphoria were like our boys that we played with all the time, and they were like our family, like our tour family almost. You know, those guys. I don't know. They were probably like my favorite memories. Yeah, Mushmouth. They've been around forever, really, and they stayed strong. Like when we stopped playing, and they were still doing things, putting out CDs, and you know, playing shows here and there, and those guys were just super cool guys always. You know, Freight Trade. Yeah, you know, I love all those guys. I worked with Mark for a while. Slave and Diego, like, crazy. Always like they're just a band that's just nuts. They were just, I think they were short lived. I think, but it was a cool time and lots of fights and like 3 days of hardcore at the Lecture Factory is nuts. Like I you know, and that's awesome. And the amount of tickets they sell, the amount of people that come out to those shows are fucking, it's crazy. So that's awesome that even there's that many people that are so still down with hardcore that you could fill out that venue. I saw the pictures. I didn't go because I was working all weekend, but the pictures are fucking crazy. Like there's 1,000 people, like 1,000 people just fucking going nuts. I always thought one thing was about hardcore before internet got crazy is that I felt like if I saw a dude with a shirt of a band I knew, and I was like, damn, that guy went to the show. That guy went to the show and was like, you know, liked the band and probably knew about them and went to some shows, and I probably even saw them every now and again. But like now, I feel like with the internet world, you don't, I mean, like if somebody knew everything about a band, or somebody's like, oh, you know, I know about this one band and fucking Mouthpiece is so awesome because of this and this and this and that, and they know because they were there. And now it's like they can Wikipedia and they can, you know, like, oh, I'm not gonna go travel to see a show half hour from now because I know I read on the internet that they're coming around in another 6 months, and I don't know. It's good that it spread the word so people who haven't heard it got to hear it, but at the same time, it was a little cooler when it was like this cool club that, you know, you knew everybody who knew the bands kind of knew them the same way you did. You know, you guys found flyers, you guys went to shows, and you know, it was a little cooler back then, I guess. Like South Jersey couldn't have a hardcore scene because every time we tried, you know, we'd have shows, and there was in like late '90s there was some kind of scene around here, but we would have shows and someone would fight and a little rioty kind of thing would break out and that venue would get shut down. It happened all the time around here. Every blue moon I pop out and I'll check out something. I'm like, oh, that's fucking cool. But I've kind of been guilty of kind of fading out as well. You know, not purposely, but just kind of happens. I got kids and everything now, and you know, between our band, we realized we had 16 kids right now. Burnside has 16 kids between just four of the members, so it's fucking crazy. Like Lance and Jack both have 5 kids. It's nuts. But you know, like I've never been one to be like, oh, you're still doing fucking hardcore, that's stupid. You know, I think it's fucking awesome, but you know, I've been guilty myself of kind of fading out. But I think it's fucking lame to think that way, though. If someone's like, oh, you're fucking dumb because you're like, you know, that's kid stuff. I'm always going to be in bands. I mean, I never, you know, I was always doing aggressive music some way, you know, like I love metal and stuff, so I was always doing something. Like I think I had about a year break between Burnside, and then I just kept on doing bands up until now, back in Burnside. So I think so. The one with Jay jumped through a flaming table and like caught himself on fire pretty hardcore, and I don't even remember if the show went on from there. There's that one, and at Hellfest they were like throwing around like a pig's head, and I saw that part. Like, and I don't know, just all kinds of stuff. There's always wrestling and table smashing and light tubes and smashing themselves in the head with fucking bottles. I saw them at CZW. They played a CZW show one time. That was interesting. It was outside doing like blood matches and shit, and it's always crazy. Like, I think parts of PA were fucking crazy. Like, I think PA was a little bit later in the game, I think, is what it was. You know what I mean? Because I remember going to New York for shows and they were fucking crazy. And then coming to to Philly in shows, and they were like starting to get like that. I remember Philly itself was like everybody danced the way they do now forever, it seemed. And then we used to go deep in PA, and the kids were just learning it. So it was like weird, sloppy, like. But then we'd go back, we'd kind of like Music. We'd go there a bunch of times, and by the time like fourth time we're going there, kids are spin kicking and windmilling and doing what everybody else was doing. You know what Philly was doing already. So like, I felt like Philly was kind of bringing it more than other parts of PA were at first. But then now, fucking, what was it, like Scranton and like all Stroudsbury or whatever, all those places are awesome now. Like those guys stayed hardcore forever. Like it was like a good, I mean, from what I see, it's like a good hardcore scene, like deeper in PA, like pretty awesome. Thoughts of hardcore were just that like family kind of like vibe. And that was my best times. My best memories of hardcore was when I felt like it was just family. Like I know, you know, I've been out for a while, but like, you know, I show up every blue moon. When I do show up, it's all hugs, you know what I mean? So that's cool. And like, it makes me wish I was around a little more, you know, because that's hardcore's family, you know. And like you look a lot of those guys, like PA hardcore especially, those guys are all super tight, you know. And it is, you know, you go up and you see a bunch of friends you haven't seen in a while, and you're fucking hugging everybody and dancing and having a good time. It was at VFW, and it was in like Cherry Hill or something, and we played, and in the first song, a fight broke out, and the owner came and was like, stop, you know, he's like, stop playing or whatever, and he's like, you know, yelling at us, and you know, trying to stop, and Lance stopped playing, and I kicked him. I was like, fuck it, let's keep playing, because I was just a dick or whatever. And we played a whole entire set while people fought. Like, and it was kind of fucking awesome, even though it was like fucked up. It was cool to just watch this, like, everybody like just brawling, like we're like some kind of weird bar band, like people were going through tables and stuff, like it was crazy, but it was super fun. Like, outside of a Hatebreed show, there was a little argument, and I don't even know what it was about. Like, I was facing this way, and then off to the left of me, the argument is continuing on from the inside of the show, and somebody pulls out a retractable lance and just smashes the dude right in the face. Like, you know, like I was right next to him. I was like, what the fuck? People start like pulling the guy apart and stuff, but it was, and you know who you are with the retractable lance if you see this.